Hi everyone, welcome to our podcast. My name is Azzy.
And my name is Arnold.
So for our new members, you're very welcome to our podcast. And then for our returning listeners, you are welcome as well. So on this podcast, we'll be talking about so many things and also how our weekend has been. How has been your weekend, Arnold?
Weekend was good and very restful. How was your weekend?
It was actually pretty good, very restful as well. Yeah, so let's get into our topics. So, as usual, we'll be reacting to the Hide My ID topics. If you are aware of them, if you're not, you can research on them, or rather send us your own hide my IDs and stuff. So the first topic says, dating a Seventh-day Adventist man, and I myself am UCZ. We are planning on getting married next year. During our talks of marriage, he told me that I have to be baptized in their church before us to be wedded, and not that I'm actually baptized in our church, which is UCZ. So their question is, I just want to know if I actually have to be baptized to be able to get into the church.
This lady is UCZ?
Yes.
The man is SDA?
Yes.
And for them to be married, they have to both be baptized in the same church, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The quick answer is yes, she has to be baptized because SDA or most churches, or some churches maybe, I don't know about others. What I know is with the SDA church, both parties have to be baptized in the church. Not any church, but the SDA church, for them to have a church service
In the church.
in their church. So it is a requirement for her to be baptized.
Yeah. I feel so as well, and it's only logical. Like, every church has got their own rules and regulations, right? So if you have been dating this man, obviously you know the rules of their church, you know what goes on in that church, and he also knows what goes on in your church. So for you to be able to accept him all the way to a point where you feel like you are about to get married to each other, obviously you saw that coming. And moreover, just as the rule states, like, a woman is the one that follows the man's church, right? If we were to go back to the old custom of everything, you follow the man and not the other way around. So yes, I guess you have to be baptized to be able to be wedded in church, unless they're willing to compromise.
Yeah, but from her questions, like, just wants to know how true this is, which is, it's very true.
It's very, very true. So you can write to us on your view about that, in case you have other views and anything else you'd like to say.
The other one says, I'm a lady age 25 and I'm soaking in regret right now. I have slept with 10 men and I feel so dirty. None of them have ever done anything to change my life. I feel so disgusted with myself. I genuinely went into these relationships with intentions for them to last, but it failed. Now here am I soaking in a pool of regret. I really need help. I know I messed up, but please, what can I do to take away this shame of letting men who didn't deserve me have access to me? I'm lost every day and I'm getting more and more depressed. Advice.
So my view is that, first of all, she's taken actually the first step to having herself cleaned, or how can I say, coming closer to God, which is she accepted her sin. She accepted her wrong. She accepted what she was doing wrong, right? And then secondly, she has to acknowledge that Christ is a God of second chances. Just because you are a sinner, just because you are unclean, doesn't mean you don't have to move close to him, doesn't mean you are unworthy. It's actually the unclean that he came for, right? So I feel that she should reconnect more with Christ and ask for his help, and that way, that only that way would she actually get the best answers to all her questions, best answers to her cleansing, best answers to her being clean, because it's only Christ that cleans you up.
But how do you know she's Christian? Maybe she's not Christian.
Yes, that's why I said step number 1, she's accepted that she's wrong. Then step number 2, I actually said she should find a way getting closer to Christ. Meaning she should know Christ. So if she's not Christian,
because she feels guilty of sleeping with those men, not that she's talking about repentance.
Yeah, she feels guilty, and guilty is feeling bad about what you've been doing, right? And the only way you can not feel bad anymore is if you confess, right? Yes. So, to my advice, if she's not Christian, I would advise, let her find somebody to talk to. Like, she needs someone close to talk to. It may not be somebody who she's already close to. It can be just anybody, even people from the neighborhood, schools, or whatever environment that she's in. Like, talk to them, be able to talk to someone and get their advice. And hopefully she actually gets to find somebody who's Christian who will be able to lead her into the right way. And what's your view?
I feel she's right to acknowledge her wrong, but she must not blame herself.
Yeah.
Because she had the right intentions of wanting a relationship. And all these 10 men have failed her. And now she feels depressed about and shameful about what she did. So what she can now do going forward is forgive herself.
Yeah.
That it's not everything that is under your control. There are things that are not under your control. And those men had their own intentions, regardless of our own true intentions. And next time going forward, she has to have intentions that are pure, but letting the men know of
her intentions
and making a principle of not sleeping with them.
Yeah, she should definitely have caution as to her movements next time.
If she wants to be sleeping with people, it should be something not to do with keeping a man, but maybe just for her own doing. So sex is not a guarantee of making her relationship strong or a man staying. And she must continue to ask around and get people's advice. But my advice is she must forgive herself and not blame herself. She must find a community or her friends who she can trust, that can help her walk through this journey till she's okay. Yeah.
So this question says, I'm a man aged 28 and I have been dating a certain girl for about a year now. I love her so much and I want to pay dowry. Her family and mine are aware of the relationship and they are expecting marriage anytime soon. All this long, we have never had sex. She couldn't allow me, and whenever I asked for it, she said no. I wasn't bothered much, so yesterday she accepted to have sex with me. Now, what I have really what has really shocked me, the girl is very open, like an open pit mining, as though she had received some nuclear bombs from Russia into her pussy. I couldn't even differentiate whether I was inside or outside. So I just had to stand and live without a word. I couldn't even know how I can describe the feeling and emotions I had that night but I felt bad and I was tormented and disappointed at the same time. So I want to end the relationship right away, but I don't want to offend her family because her family knows the relationship and treat me like their in-law. And they may end up thinking like I was just using their daughter with evil intentions, but that's not the that's not the case. But again, I can't take this. Help me with some advice on how I can take this issue without offending them. Topic. There is the topic.
There's a lot to digest.
There's a lot to digest here.
So this man is 28, dating a certain girl for a year. And he wants to pay lobola to the family, but he's been asking to sleep with her and she's been refusing.
Yeah.
So she finally accepted, and he realized that the sex he had was not good, and now he wants to change his mind, which now is making me question his intentions. Like,
Yeah.
is he getting married for
Sex?
And that's the whole thing about courtship. You have to ask how many people she has slept with. Know the history of
Her sex
your
life.
partner that you want to go with.
Yeah.
Before you get married. So if you feel like you can continue, you do not have to make them feel used just after having sex with them when you don't want to be with them anymore. And also, the other thing is he doesn't owe the family anything. If he feels he can't manage and wants to move on, he can do so by telling her how he truly feels. And if they can't work it out, they can both go their separate ways.
Yeah, I think so as well. Firstly, the whole thing is just questionable. Like, I don't understand. Now I'm beginning to think he was just willing to get married to her because of the sex. Obviously, he was expecting one, she's a virgin. Obviously, she's refusing for good reasons and stuff. So he was just there for the sex. Because why then would somebody want to change their mind just because, oh, I found she has whatever he just mentioned, which is really wrong, and it will actually feel very used knowing that they were just from having sex and then now he wants to change his mind and all. But away from that, if he feels he really can't manage the whole situation, which I am not in support, but anyway, if he can't manage the whole situation, he does not owe the family anything at all. He did not start paying anything. He was just introduced at home, or rather people at home just knew about their relationship. So he doesn't owe them anything. That's actually, if the family were to be offended by his reactions, that would be entitlements, because why are you going to be entitled with somebody's decision for not wanting to marry your daughter? That's just something. So I feel he should just tell her the truth, because the best thing is he should actually come out and tell her the truth, other than him hiding and being strong in the whole relationship to a point where they get married, then he starts acting up. So it's better you have a broken relationship than a broken marriage.
Yeah, I also feel the same because it's mad, isn't it? So being open is what he needs to do. Just say what he expected so that she is aware of what the reason is. And I just go in mute.
Yeah, and I feel the other reason is if you were to actually open up to the lady. Nowadays, there are so many solutions to that problem. So nowadays, there are so many solutions to such problems. Women have found ways on which they can actually do certain things, do those things and stuff. So if he's in it, but I would say if he's in it for the sex, I feel it's best they actually separate before they go any further. Because even if she were to find a solution, clearly the time that she'll actually go back to being an oversized vagina, he would leave still.
Yeah.
So at this point, let him just open up and go separate ways.
Anyway, third question. I am a lady aged 23 and I've been seeing this guy for close to 6 months now. And in these few months, I have visited his place several times. And when I am there, I do clean up the house and do some thorough cleaning since he is usually busy and he doesn't have a maid. But with time, I have noticed that my boyfriend has developed a tendency of asking me to go clean his house, saying that he loves the way I clean. And it is not sitting right with me. Jokingly, I told him to get a maid, but he didn't take the joke lightly. My concern is, will I be putting my relationship with him in jeopardy if I say no to cleaning his house or going to his house?
Okay. So, 6 months. So here is a man who's been dating the lady. So the lady here is the one complaining, yeah? They've been dating for 6 months. My only question is 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't know how most people see themselves in relationships, but I personally feel 6 months is too little to start going all the way to clean. Anyway, maybe she was trying to prove certain points and stuff, because sometimes men, or should I say most men, do not see the signs, or they do not listen, or they don't get advice easily. So she was trying to clean in order to show him like, oh, you need to be clean and stuff. But going back to the question, I feel like the man needs to be understanding. That's number one. She's not the wife. She's just a girlfriend. And then him getting offended just because she said no, just because she's told him the truth, shouldn't be part of the relationship at all. Like, he should be willing to hear his person when the person is not willing to do something. I mean, that's just cleaning. What more if they were to ask for other things and she says no? What would happen then?
Yeah.
Then I feel if she feels it's uncomfortable, let her open up to him about it. Like, tell her side of the story, because sometimes it's just a matter of communication. Maybe because she said it jokingly and stuff. Let them have a serious talk. Sit down, talk about it, hear his view, and then from there should be able to judge whether she doesn't want it anymore, or she's willing to compromise on certain things. That's my view.
Yeah, this is not a really big of an issue. They've been dating for 6 months, so she's been trying to please this man.
Yeah.
Helping him with the house chores. Then the man has taken advantage of the situation. that he loves the way she
Cleans.
cleans. And when she requested for a maid, he didn't take it lightly. He doesn't have money. He doesn't have money for a maid.
Let him clean up by himself, though.
These maids are expensive, so I get his point. But I also feel it's just the girl, she's taking it a bit too seriously. I don't think it's a real situation because she's not really confronted him in a serious way. If she can confront him, say, look, I can't be cleaning for you every time. I can only be cleaning at my own free will when I feel like doing it and not when you feel like I should do it. Secondly, if you don't feel like doing it, he doesn't have to force you to do it. So if you can just be open. I think the thing that people lack in relationships is just communication, because if they both can communicate well, some of these petty issues won't even be in relationships.
True.
So she just needs to communicate with him, giving her thoughts, because she's scared that if she confronts him, the relationship might be in trouble. And if it gets in trouble, then the relationship, it's better to even end the relationship, because these are petty, childish arguments that should not last in a long-term relationship. Because there's some women who don't like cleaning. So what happens if he finds one who doesn't like to clean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be able to overlook such things. So they're not deal breakers per se, but I get her point.
We get where she's coming from.
Or if she can get a maid for him, and she can be paying the maid. Or she can become the maid and say, you'll be paying me. Yeah, get some extra cash.
Yeah, otherwise this is not something that would actually have to affect the relationship, guys. Like, there are greater issues in relationships. There are greater issues in homes. Like, imagine you start living together, you are married. There are bigger issues. You can't be arguing about cleaning a house, doing what. If you're not comfortable about something, sit down your partner, talk about it, find a common ground, something where both of you actually be comfortable to live in, and like you just be holding it in and always doing something that you're not happy with. Better you speak out, find a common ground, and live with it. Getting to our last question. I'm a 26-year-old lady currently engaged to a 30-year-old man. This guy is weird, and it's now beginning to get to me. Whenever we have a fight, and it's mostly because even when he does really hurtful things, he never says sorry. He'll call, you talk about it, and mostly you talk about it, and mostly it will be giving excuses, okay. And mostly it will be giving excuses and not really apologizing. I be thinking all is good, and immediately after the call or the phone call, he will update his status with those he will update his status with those motivational quotes of "judge me if you're perfect," "stay away from those who don't see their mistakes." You can call it pride, I call it self-respect. You know those Toma quotes. And I'm left wondering, am I being petty, or this guy is just childish? Should I run or stay? Should she run?
Capital letters, childish.
No two ways about it.
Very childish. And this is a man who is 30 years of age. And the one who is 26 is very much mature. It's mad. So he's the one who firstly provokes her, says hateful things, and doesn't say sorry after that. I think there's an element of pride. And he's always giving excuses, apologizing. This man is childish. He has a lot of things to work on. And he then goes a step forward to posting motivational statuses. That's childish. I don't expect that from ladies. For him being 30 and he's doing that, it's mad. That's childish. I can't even. He must run. Run for your life. This is what we're talking about in the previous episode. These are red flags that should not be tolerated because they'll continue even in marriage.
Yeah.
So he's a very prideful person and she must love herself enough to run away. And I feel she's a good lady who deserves better and to be treated better.
Yeah, that's true. Because, guys, 30-year-old, you're posting motivational quotes just because we're from having an argument. So when we get married, we have an argument, everything will be on social media. These are the ones who even go behind your back. They go tell his side of the family things that you do, or even things you haven't done. They tell. They're the types. So this lady should just run. She needs to run. And don't even look back because the level of childishness here is beyond, especially for a 30-year-old, especially that they are engaged. It doesn't make sense.
And I think we need to speak about childishness couples next episode. So if you want to know whether your partner is childish, make sure you listen to the next episode. We'll tackle about it. There are too many mature people, not mature, too many grown-up people who are very childish. Yeah.
So we've come to the end of the podcast. We had to go, but we'll be back soon. Make sure you follow us on Twitter as Azzy and Arnold Podcasts. And be sure to like, share, and just share to everybody. And also remember to text us your comments, leave your comments, text us whatever you'd like to hear from us or whatever topic you'd like us to share and stuff.
Yeah, that's it for now. Peace.
Bye.
Tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile.